us. And
Hi.
looking great.
Thank you.
You really are. Congratulations on your induction into the Oregon Music Hall of Fame. And thank you, by the way, for your support of music education. We'll get to more of that in just a bit. But first, a behind-the-scenes peek at your 3-decade-long career, is it?
I guess so, yeah.
Let's not do the math for now.
No, I've been at it, I think, for 35 years because my first professional gig, I think, was 1984. Yeah.
So when did you first sit down at the piano? And was it love at first touch?
I think I first started plinking on the piano, probably I was 4 years old or something like that. And I think I was just curious.
But it was in your home.
It was in the home. We had a little spinet piano, a little black Wurlitzer spinet piano that my parents got for their as a wedding gift from the family. And so I think by the time I was 6 years old, I had my first piano lesson. Our next door neighbor was a piano teacher. And I was a very painfully shy child. I still carry that with me a little bit, which is interesting. Because
seems ironic, yeah.
Even with that kind of shy feeling, I still somehow push myself to get out there in front of people. But pushing yourself through that has come through experience and mentorship and teachers and experiences and all that kind of stuff. But my parents really thought that would help me get out of my shell, and I was an easy crier. I mean, all that stuff hid behind my dad's leg. I was really a shy kid, and they thought that might help me. And so I liked it. I was really good at it. It was really easy for me. And
because it does take some practice to be able to read notes and then feel them where they are.
Yeah.
With your fingers.
I'm really fortunate to have the academic side, to really know the language of music, and the study of the mathematics of it and stuff, because I can read any piece of music down. But also I have the other gift of being a creative, someone who can play by ear and make things up. And so having those two gifts really have given me so many opportunities, to be a composer in so many different genres and arenas. Some
might describe the music that you create as quote unquote new age. How do you describe your sound, this classic contemporary style you're gifting us with?
Well, the new age, I think, label happened in the kind of late 80s to the mid 90s because I started doing a whole bunch of piano solo records. Before that, I was doing, contemporary jazz with my band, more like Jeff Lorber and Tom Grant and that kind of thing. But the piano solo stuff is, and I guess kind of the new age movement was happening there with George Winston and David Lons and those guys. But a lot of their stuff is more meditative, and less cadence or chord structure. And my music has more of that classical influence, and it's so melody driven. But they really had a hard time classifying what it was, so they put me in with the new age guys.
For lack of a better,
So you know what you get when you play new age music backwards. New age music.
That's good. Well, you've created music for the ballet, the theater, and film.
Yeah.
But most telling is your love for teaching. How did your nonprofit organization, Snowman Foundation, get born?
Well, I was doing lots of artist in residences in the schools because it was not too far after, if you remember, Measure 5. That took a lot of funds, out of the community. And that was kind of like the beginning of a lot of funds being taken away from the arts. I put together an artist in residence program to help schools with that lack and go in and work with kids. And seeing more and more of that lack, I thought, well, instead of complaining about it, why don't I try to do something about it? And I formed my foundation 20 years ago, and it's called the Snowman Foundation. And when I started the foundation, you start with family and friends, and but now it's grown over the last 20 years to. I really have a very strong board of many different community members, and the the program that has arisen out of the foundation, that has really risen, has made the biggest difference and is making an even bigger difference now, is called Play It Forward. And that program, we take in gently used instruments from the community. So all the instruments we get from people's homes, whether it's a piano or a guitar or a drum set or a keyboard, an oboe, cellos, violins, whatever it happens to be, yes. As long as they're gently used. We don't fix up instruments. We're not in that business, but we are in the business of taking beautiful instruments that have been loved and giving them to new humans to love as well.
Play it forward.
And play them forward, yeah.
It's a beautiful concept.
And now we've started an after-school program, a piano program, where it's an after-school program where kids can come and get private lessons. So from 2:30 to 5 o'clock every day at several of the Portland Public School grade schools, several kids are, and we have kids every day. We have over 100 kids right now, and by next school year we'll have 200 kids that are getting private lessons, and each of them got their own piano with no strings attached. It's their piano for life. We give them a real piano
that they can take home.
That we deliver to their home.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I wanted to remind everybody about your annual 10 Grands concert series, because annually it funds the Snowman Foundation.
Yes,
Very
and the
important.
Play It Forward program. Yes. And it'll be our 20th anniversary, and we're closing in about $3.5 million we've raised so far over the last 20 years, which is pretty darn good.
And yet another favorite Portland tradition is Christmas at the old church.
Oh, yeah.
Your reputation is
Well, I'm coming, not this season, but next season, 2020 Christmas, will be my 30th anniversary of doing that series at the old church. It's a really special time. We're doing, I think, 23 shows this year, and I think next year we'll probably add a couple more.
You never seem to tire of doing these things. I'm always seeing you posting about what's going on in your life.
Well, when you're a musician and you have that gift, that's being a musician, of having that in a human experience. I mean, that's one of the greatest gifts in the world, and there isn't anything that I would love more than just to play the piano, and that I've gotten over, some of my shyness. I mean, I love sharing what I do, and the biggest and most fortunate thing that's happened for me is that people keep asking me to share it.
Well, your reputation extends well beyond our town. You were invited to play at the UN, for instance. Which,
that was in 1998. Yeah.
Talk about not being able to do your shy thing.
Right. Yeah. Well, that was the year that I released an album called Seasons of Peace, and I did that in partnership with the Living Enrichment Center, and so they were connected to this big kind of global peace movement where they asked several artists to come and perform at the UN, and then also we performed a few months later at The Hague and in the Netherlands. Over there they pronounce it Den Haag, and so we were able to be a part of that whole thing, and there was guest speakers from all around the world and guest artists. And I think one of the most remarkable things that happened was when we played at the Prince William Alexander Theater at The Hague, which holds about 5,000 people. So it's opulent like the Arlene Schnitzer Concert Hall, kind of like times 10, but it also holds 2,000 more people. And so we were one of 5 different artists, and we had a 20-minute set. And the thing that was so exciting is that after we were done with our set, 5,000 people leaped to their feet and gave us a standing ovation. And they had never heard of us, and they had never heard our music. And it was just one of the most thrilling moments for me in my career.
Bone-chilling, yes.
Yeah.
What is left for you to do or you hope to achieve after having done all this?
Oh, my goodness.
Is there anything in the back of your head that you keep on
Well, you know, I'm always writing new music, or I'm doing new arrangements and songs. I think one of the things I really want to see happen is my big show 10 Grands expand into other cities. Now we've been in Seattle, we've been in West Palm Beach, and we have plans to go to San Francisco and Denver in the very near future. But I would love to see us, you know, maybe do 20 cities a year. You know, I'm 61 years old, and I think I have enough energy to tour something like that.
Right. Maybe you can learn the drums or the guitar.
You never know. Well, I can play the drums a little bit. I can play guitar a little bit. I'm pretty good on the bass. I love playing hand percussion. I'm a curious fellow, so, you know, I learned how to do web design, and right now I'm learning how to do video production. I'm setting up my studio to do live streaming, and you know, and I want to sync up 6 different cameras, and I'm learning how to do all that, and I've learned so much on how to be an audio engineer, and you know, so, and I love working with kids, and the more I can get the 10 Grand show out there, the more kids that we can help. And I think my biggest goal, and my wife and I have been talking about this because my wife runs the Play It Forward program. Her name's Marietta. She's one of the most incredible, beautiful human beings in the whole wide world, and the best mom I ever witnessed. I think one of our big dreams is to see a piano program in every school where the kids, during their, not just after school, but during school, and I saw this with the Catholic schools, because I used to go and work with them with my artists in residences, but they pull kids out of class for 20 minutes to a half an hour, and they have teachers that you go to a room and you get a private piano lesson or a private violin lesson, because there's nothing better than that one-on-one experience. And it's great to do group stuff, but you have that one-on-one experience, and then when you do the performance, you're not just singing one person in the choir. When you get up, you have a solo. It's your moment. It's your moment to shine.
Well, this is your moment to shine.
Yeah, well, thank you so much,
Once again, congratulations on your induction. How is that feeling for you?
Very profound, and I'll tell you why. Because it leaves a legacy for my family. It's a great honor for me, and it feels good. But what it does is it leaves a legacy for my family. You know, someday my great-great-grandchild is going to be at the Oregon Music Hall of Fame, and they're going to see my picture and my story.
And you got a great one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.